Welcome to another deep dive. This time, it's into the Kybalion, a book claiming to reveal the secrets of Hermetic philosophy, passed down from ancient Egypt.
Oh, this is a fascinating one.
It is. It's like alchemy, but for your mind.
Yeah.
Not turning lead into gold, though.
Yeah.
We're talking about understanding the universe is fundamentally mental
Right.
and learning how to use those universal laws to your advantage.
Absolutely.
Pretty heady stuff.
It is. It is. What's so fascinating about the Kybalion is it traces these teachings back to Hermes Trismegistus,
Okay.
a figure shrouded in mystery.
Hermes Trismegistus.
All right.
That definitely sounds like we're stepping into the realm of ancient mysteries here.
Yeah, revered by the ancient Egyptians, he's considered the source of Hermetic wisdom.
What do we actually know about him, though?
Well, that's the thing. He's more of a legendary figure than a confirmed historical person.
Okay.
Some believe he was a god.
Huh.
Others, a wise sage who lived millennia ago. But the teachings attributed to him, they were meant to be kept secret, passed down through initiation, and carefully guarded.
So kind of like a secret society of knowledge hidden in plain sight for centuries.
Exactly.
And the Kybalion, published in 1908, claims to lift the veil on some of these principles.
Exactly. And you can feel the influence of Hermeticism throughout history, from religious thought to the foundations of modern science. It's all about understanding the interconnectedness of everything through the lens of 7 core principles.
7 principles, all right. Let's break those down. Starting with mentalism.
Okay.
What's the big idea here?
So, mentalism is the bedrock of Hermetic philosophy.
Okay.
It states that the all is mind, meaning the universe is essentially a mental creation.
Okay, hold on, because that's exactly where my mind went. If it's all a mental creation, does that mean reality isn't real?
Now, before you think we're saying the physical world is an illusion, think of it this way. The Kybalion acknowledges that while the universe might be a thought form, in the mind of the all, it's still very real to us while we're experiencing it. Kind of like a dream. It feels real while you're in it, right?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can sort of wrap my head around that. But how does this mentalism thing actually play out in our everyday life?
That's where the principle of correspondence comes in.
Okay.
As above, so below. This means the microcosm, your mind, reflects the macrocosm, the universe.
Okay.
By studying how your own thoughts create your reality, you can begin to understand how the all created the universe.
So if we can grasp how our inner world shapes our experience, we get a glimpse into the workings of the entire universe. That's pretty profound. All right, what about this vibration principle?
Yes.
Everything's always buzzing.
Precisely. The Kybalion teaches that nothing rests. Everything is in constant motion. Everything vibrates.
Okay.
What we perceive as solid matter is actually energy vibrating at a slower frequency.
That's fascinating. It almost seems like the Kybalion anticipated what modern physics tells us about atoms and subatomic particles constantly moving. So if everything is vibration, could we actually change our own vibration, like changing a radio frequency?
That's what the Kybalion suggests. And it's where things start to get really interesting. If you could grasp and control your own vibration. The Hermetists believed you could impact mental states, physical matter, even natural phenomena.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. Let's talk about polarity.
Right?
Good and evil, light and dark, those seem like total opposites.
Here's where the Kybalion challenges conventional thinking. It states that opposites are not separate entities, but rather 2 extremes on the same spectrum.
Okay.
Think of it like heat and cold. They're not different things, just varying degrees of temperature on a scale.
So instead of seeing love and hate as totally different things, we should see them as points on a spectrum of emotion. Maybe.
Exactly. And here's where the practical application comes in.
Okay.
The Kybalion suggests that by understanding this principle, you could consciously shift your mental and emotional state. If you're feeling down, you could move your mental polarity towards joy.
Wait, are you saying we can actually transform negative emotions into positive ones? Just by understanding this principle. That sounds like a game changer.
It can be. It can be.
Okay. On to rhythm. Does this have to do with the cyclical nature of, well, everything?
You got it.
Okay.
The Kybalion points out that everything in the universe flows in cycles.
Okay.
Think of the tides, the seasons, the rise and fall of civilizations, and even your personal experiences of joy and sorrow.
Yeah.
They all follow a rhythm.
This resonates with me. Life definitely has its ups and downs. So how can we apply this knowledge? Can we learn to ride these waves of change instead of getting tossed around?
That's precisely the idea. Hermeticism teaches us not to resist the natural ebb and flow, but to recognize it and work with it.
Okay.
You can't stop the cycles, but you can learn to navigate them more skillfully.
Right. What about cause and effect? What's the Kybalions' take on that?
The Kybalion states that there's no such thing as chance. Everything happens according to the law of cause and effect. Every action has a reaction. However, here's the empowering part. By understanding this principle, you can become more of a cause than an effect in your own life.
So instead of feeling like we're at the mercy of fate, we can consciously create the causes that lead to the effects we want.
That's a powerful idea. All right, let's dive into the final principle, gender.
Okay.
I'm guessing this isn't just about biological sex.
You're right. The Kybalion uses gender in a much broader sense,
Yeah.
referring to the creative forces at play in all things.
Okay.
It's about the masculine and feminine energies essential for generation, regeneration, and creation on all levels of existence.
So it's more about the interplay of creative forces within the universe and within ourselves.
Precisely. Think of the analogy of a father and mother.
Okay, yeah.
The masculine principle provides the initial impulse, the will, and the feminine principle brings that impulse into manifestation.
I like that analogy. It seems like this concept played a big role in ancient alchemy, too. Absolutely. Alchemists saw the masculine and feminine principles at work in the transformation of metals, just like Hermeticism sees them in the transformation of consciousness.
Okay. So we've laid out the 7 principles, and I'm already feeling like my understanding of reality is shifting. But here's the big question that keeps coming back to me.
Okay.
If the universe is a mental creation, does that mean it's all an illusion?
Ah, you've stumbled upon the divine paradox. And it's one that has challenged philosophers for centuries.
So, is it real or not?
The Kybalion offers a perspective that embraces both the absolute and relative viewpoints.
Okay.
From the absolute perspective, the universe, as a mental creation, could be seen as a dream compared to the ultimate reality of the all. But on the relative level, the universe is very real to us while we're experiencing it.
So it's like saying a dream might be an illusion, but while you're dreaming it, it feels incredibly real.
Exactly.
That actually makes sense. But if the universe is a thought form in the mind of the all, where does that leave us? Are we like mini thoughts within that giant thought?
Imagine it this way. If the universe is a mental creation, each of us is like a thought within that creation, a microcosm reflecting the macrocosm. And taking it a step further, this leads us to another mind-boggling concept, the idea that the all is not only in everything, but everything is also in the all.
Wait, how? How is that even possible?
It's definitely a paradox. Think of an author and their book.
Okay.
The author creates the characters and the story, which exist only within the pages of the book. But at the same time, the author is present within the book through their thoughts, ideas, and creative energy.
So we're like characters in the book of the universe and the all is the author. But then why create a universe at all? What's the point?
That's a question the Hermetists grappled with. The Kybalion suggests that the all might have an inner nature, a creative impulse, just like we do, but the ultimate answer remains a mystery.
Okay. I can accept that some things are beyond our current understanding. But what about planes of existence? Is that another way of talking about levels of vibration?
Exactly. The Kybalion describes 3 great planes: the physical, the mental, and the spiritual.
Okay.
These aren't physical places you could travel to, but levels of vibration or consciousness.
So it's not like we're going to hop on a spaceship and visit the mental plane.
Not quite. But the Kybalion suggests that through mental and spiritual development, you can raise your vibration and experience these higher planes of existence.
Okay. That makes sense. What can you tell us about these different planes and what exists on them?
Well, the great physical plane encompasses everything related to the material world,
Okay.
from solids, liquids, and gases to more subtle forms of matter and energy. This even includes what science calls the ether, which the Hermetists believe to be a higher manifestation of matter, vibrating at an incredibly fast rate.
So even what we perceive as empty space is actually teeming with vibratory energy.
Yes.
What about the mental plane? What kinds of beings exist there?
Things get really interesting on the mental plane. The Kybalion suggests it's inhabited by a range of entities, from the minds of minerals and plants, all the way to the realms of animal consciousness. It's also the plane of human minds, and even beings whose mental capacity goes beyond our comprehension.
You're saying there are beings out there with minds far greater than our own. This is really stretching my imagination. What about the spiritual plane?
Above the mental plane is the great spiritual plane, inhabited by even higher beings, beings of immense power and intelligence, who might be called angels, archangels, or even gods.
Hold on. Angels and gods. Are we talking about the same kind of beings that religions describe?
The parallels are certainly intriguing. The Kybalion suggests that these spiritual beings play a role in the evolution and cosmic progress of the universe.
Wow, so we're talking about a vast, interconnected web of life across multiple planes of existence, all vibrating at different frequencies, all part of this grand mental creation of the all. This is mind-blowing. But I have to ask, if the goal of Hermeticism is to understand all of this, how do we actually apply it to our lives? What's the point of all this knowledge?
The key takeaway here is that you're not just a passive observer. You're an active participant in shaping your reality.
Okay.
The Kybalion encourages you to master your mental universe and use these universal laws to shape your experiences.
Okay. So how do we actually do that? How do we become masters of our own mental universe?
That's where the concept of mental transmutation comes in.
Mental transmutation. It sounds like a superpower.
It can be.
But what exactly is it and how does it work?
Mental transmutation is the art of consciously changing your mental state. By understanding and utilizing the principles of polarity and vibration, by mastering these principles, you can transform negative thoughts and emotions into positive ones, and ultimately shape your reality.
So if you're feeling anxious or fearful, you can use mental transmutation to shift to a state of peace and courage.
That's the idea.
That sounds incredibly powerful.
It is a powerful concept, but it's not a one-time event. Mental transmutation is an ongoing process of refining your thoughts and emotions, becoming a more conscious creator of your experiences. It's about aligning yourself with your true nature, the divine within you.
All right, I'm ready to dive deeper. Let's unpack this mental transmutation and see how we can apply it in our daily lives. Mental transmutation sounds amazing, but how do we actually do it? Is there like a step-by-step guide?
Well, the Kybalion, it gives you the principles, not a recipe.
Right.
Think of it like learning an instrument.
Right.
You need to understand the theory, practice the techniques, and then you can improvise your own melodies.
Okay. So what are some of the key techniques when it comes to mental transmutation?
One technique is using the principle of polarity. Remember, opposites are just degrees on the same scale. So if you're experiencing a negative emotion like fear, you can consciously choose to focus on its polar opposite, courage.
So it's not about denying or suppressing the fear, but more about consciously choosing to focus on a more positive, empowering emotion.
Exactly. It's like tuning your mental radio to a different frequency.
I like that analogy. But what if the fear is really strong? How do we overcome that initial resistance?
That's where the principle of vibration comes in. The Kybalion teaches that by raising your vibration, you weaken the hold of negative thoughts and emotions.
So how do we raise our vibration? Is it as simple as listening to upbeat music or thinking happy thoughts?
Those things can definitely help, but the Kybalion points to a deeper process. It suggests connecting with your higher self, with the I that's connected to the all.
This is starting to sound pretty mystical, which is fascinating, but I'm curious how it all fits together.
It is a mystical tradition, but the Kybalion also emphasizes reason and understanding.
Okay.
It's about using your mind to grasp and apply these universal laws to your own life.
So it's a balance of the mystical and the practical.
Right.
You're not just passively waiting for enlightenment. You're actively using your mind to shape your experience.
Exactly. It's about recognizing your own inner power.
Okay. So let's say we've used polarity and vibration to shift our mental state. What happens next? How does that actually manifest in our lives?
This is where it gets really fascinating. The Kybalion suggests that your thoughts are creative forces shaping your reality.
Right.
When you change your mental state, you change your vibration, and that change attracts different experiences.
So if I'm consistently vibrating at a higher frequency, I'll attract more positive experiences.
It sounds a bit like the law of attraction.
There are definitely similarities. But the Kybalion, it takes it a step further. It's not just about attracting things. It's about becoming more aligned with your true nature. Divine within you.
This reminds me of that mind-blowing concept we talked about earlier. The all is in a all, and all is in the all. It's like we're all interconnected, part of this vast web of consciousness. And through mental transmutation, we can tap into that interconnectedness. We're not just separate individuals. We're expressions of the all. That's a great way to put it. Mental transmutation is about recognizing and harnessing that connection to the creative power of the all.
So if we master this mental transmutation, What kind of incredible things could we achieve? The possibilities seem endless.
The Kybalion suggests that the possibilities are indeed limitless, the Hermetists believed. Mental transmutation could be used for healing, for manifesting your desires, overcoming obstacles, even influencing the natural world.
Wait, are you saying we could control the weather with our minds? That's some serious Jedi Master stuff.
The Kybalion does include stories of masters who could control the elements, but the primary focus is on mastering your inner world, recognizing that your thoughts create your reality.
Okay, so maybe I won't be summoning lightning bolts anytime soon.
Hey,
But
Ben.
if I can learn to transmute fear into courage and attract more joy into my life, that's a pretty good start.
It's a powerful journey. And remember, mental transmutation is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process.
Right.
It's about continually refining your thoughts and emotions, becoming more conscious of how you're creating your experience.
So it's about evolving your consciousness, raising your vibration, and moving closer to those higher planes of existence we discussed.
Precisely. And as you do that, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself and the universe.
This is all incredibly inspiring. But I have to admit, it's also a bit overwhelming. Where do we even begin to apply this ancient wisdom in our modern lives?
That's a great question. It's one thing to understand these principles intellectually, but how do we actually embody them?
Exactly. How do we take mental transmutation, polarity, rhythm, all of it, and integrate it into our daily routines?
Well, there are no shortcuts to mastery, but the Kybalion offers valuable guidance. One key practice is mindfulness, becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions.
That makes sense. If we're not even aware of our mental and emotional patterns, how can we change them?
Right. Start by simply observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Notice how they ebb and flow, how they impact your energy and your actions.
So it's about becoming the observer of your own mind, stepping back from that constant internal chatter and seeing it from a new perspective.
Precisely. Once you develop that awareness, you can start applying the other principles.
Right.
For example, when you notice a negative thought, you can use polarity to shift your focus to a more positive one.
So instead of getting caught in a spiral of worry, I could consciously choose to focus on gratitude or hope.
Exactly. And remember the principle of rhythm. Life has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
So don't resist the natural flow.
Okay.
When you're feeling down, remind yourself that it's just a temporary state and allow yourself to move through it without getting stuck.
Okay, that's a helpful reminder. We've talked a lot about mastering our inner world.
Yeah.
But how does Hermetic philosophy apply to our outer world, to our relationships and goals?
The Kybalion emphasizes that.
Yeah.
Your inner world shapes your outer world. Remember the principle of correspondence. As above, so below.
Right.
If you want to create positive change in your relationships and achieve your goals, you need to start by cultivating those qualities within yourself.
So if I want to attract more loving relationships, I need to become more loving myself. It sounds like a simple idea, but it has profound implications.
It does. And if you're working towards a specific goal, visualize yourself already achieving it. Feel the emotions associated with success and let that energy guide your actions.
That sounds a lot like those visualization techniques athletes and entrepreneurs use. It's about aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desired outcome.
Exactly. And remember the principle of cause and effect.
Right.
You are the cause of your experiences.
Okay.
Take responsibility for your choices and focus on planting the seeds for the future you want to create.
This is really empowering. We're not just passive recipients of fate,
Right.
but active creators of our own destiny.
Right.
We have the power to shape our reality.
The Kybalion suggests that we have far more power than we realize. It's about tapping into the divine within you, recognizing that you are part of the all, and therefore possess the same creative potential.
It's almost like a whole new way of seeing the world. It's not just about getting what I want, but about becoming the best version of myself
Yeah.
and contributing to the evolution of consciousness.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And remember, the journey of self-mastery is ongoing. It's a process of continual learning, growth, and transformation.
So it's not about achieving some ultimate state of perfection, but rather about embracing the journey of becoming.
Precisely. The Kybalion encourages us to remain open, curious, and willing to explore the depths of our own being and the mysteries of the universe. There's always more to learn and discover.
I feel like my mind has been stretched, challenged,
Yeah.
and ultimately expanded by this deep dive into the Kybalion.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much wisdom is packed into these ancient teachings.
Indeed. And the Kybalion is just one entry point
Oh.
into the vast world of Hermetic philosophy.
Yeah.
There's a lifetime of exploration ahead for those who are drawn to its teachings.
As we wrap up this exploration of the Kybalion, what's the one takeaway you hope our listener will hold on to? What's the most important thing to remember from all of this?
I would encourage you to remember this. The power to shape your reality lies within you.
It is a huge responsibility, but also incredibly empowering.
It is empowering, and it brings us back to that essential idea of mental transmutation, recognizing you have the power to choose your thoughts, and in doing so, create the life you want.
So how do we bridge the gap between these grand philosophical concepts and our everyday lives? How do we take all this amazing wisdom from the Kybalion and actually apply it in a practical way?
The key lies in making these principles a lived experience, not just something you think about intellectually. Remember those key practices we talked about earlier. Mindfulness, understanding polarity, working with rhythm. Those are your tools for integrating these teachings into your daily life.
Right. Those tools help us become more conscious creators of our experience. But can you give some specific examples of what that might look like? How might someone use the Kybalion's wisdom to navigate challenges in their relationships or work towards their goals?
Let's say you're facing conflict in a relationship. Instead of getting caught up in blame or anger, you can use the principle of polarity to shift your perspective.
Okay.
Can you see the situation from the other person's point of view? Can you find a point of understanding or compassion?
So even when things feel difficult or painful, there's always another perspective, another way of looking at the situation. It's about consciously choosing how we respond rather than reacting automatically.
Exactly. And remember the principle of rhythm.
Right.
Relationships, like everything else, go through cycles.
Yeah.
There will be times of harmony and times of discord. Understanding this can help you ride the waves instead of getting swept away.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How about when it comes to achieving our goals? How can the Kybalion guide us there?
Think about the principle of mentalism.
Okay.
The universe is a mental creation,
Right.
which means your thoughts are incredibly powerful. If you want to achieve something, start by creating a clear mental picture of it. Visualize yourself succeeding. Feel the emotions associated with that success.
That sounds like the kind of visualization technique that athletes use to improve their performance.
It's the same principle. And don't forget about cause and effect. You are the cause of your experiences.
Right.
If you want to achieve a goal, you need to take action. What steps can you take today to move you closer to what you want?
So it's about aligning our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions with our desired outcome. We're not just passively hoping for things to happen. We're actively creating our reality.
Exactly. And remember, even when things get challenging, you have the power within you to shift your perspective, to transmute negative energy into something positive and productive.
This has been such an incredible exploration. The Kybalion offers a completely different lens for understanding ourselves and the world around us. It's not just about accumulating knowledge, it's about applying that knowledge to create a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
I couldn't agree more. The beauty of the Kybalion is that it offers timeless wisdom that's as relevant today as it was centuries ago.
And as we wrap up our deep dive, what final thought would you leave our listener with? What's the one thing you hope they take away from this exploration of the Kybalion?
I would encourage you to remember this. The power to shape your reality lies within you. Embrace the principles of Hermeticism, experiment with them in your own life, and see what incredible transformations you can create.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Kybalion. We hope it sparked your curiosity and inspired you to explore the depths of your own being and the mysteries of the universe. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep unlocking the power within you.